Harrisburg Westside School Principal Eric Widges says incorporating guidelines for in-person learning took a little getting used to at first.
I think the biggest change at all for all of us was just getting used to the new norm that existed within our schools, whether it was the temperature taking, the distancing as much as you could, the mask wearing and that kind of thing. There was just that apprehension that existed at first, but once that first week came and we saw the students come back into our building, we realized exactly why we were there and why we came into the profession was for our kids. And so that made all the difference in the world.
In Carbondale, the school year started out in full remote and changed to hybrid in October. But then the positivity cases started to increase, forcing them to switch back to full remote in November.
This year has been a year that, unlike any other that we've ever had in the history of education. No one in education right now has ever educated through a global pandemic.
Superintendent Daniel Booth says they are preparing to return to the hybrid model next month.
We were happy with what we learned in October. We were in for about 4 weeks in October before Thanksgiving, before the rates started to skyrocket in our county again, and the health department suggested that we close down again. But those rates are back down, and we've got teachers getting vaccinated right now, and we're planning to come back February 1st and hopefully to stay in at that time.
One of the first hiccups both districts experienced was how to get everyone connected remotely.
We're a pretty rural community, and so connectivity was an issue. We've reached out to parents and guardians trying to offer them hotspots, but even with those hotspots, we still had connectivity issues with those kids not able to connect to the internet, therefore having issues with Chromebook connection to our platforms. And so that was probably the biggest challenge with e-learning in our community, was the connectivity portion of it.
Booth says connectivity also caused problems for students in Carbondale.
We do have conversation with parents if their students have been struggling online remotely, and a lot of times the reason that some kids struggle online remotely, it could be a technology issue. They could have internet, but not great internet. There is a difference between the two. It's not just everyone having internet, it's having good internet.
Slow internet or no internet has caused some students to fall behind, and Widges says they're helping students every way they can.
We've discussed numerous avenues. We're doing a tutoring session in the afternoon for identifying kids that are at risk, bringing them back into school or keeping them at school for extended tutoring hours and some interventions to put in play for help them.
While in full remote, struggling students in Carbondale meet in smaller groups or one-on-one for extra instruction in the afternoon.
And that smaller group work is where you can't hide. You can't hide when it's just 3 people on the screen and everybody's got to answer a question, or we're round robining, or I'm asking everyone to read, I'm asking everyone to do a math problem.
Booth says the pandemic has taken a toll on more than the schools. Parents are struggling too.
How many families have had to quit a job, have had to reduce hours, have had to make a decision on, can I work as many hours as I can, or do I need to focus on my kid learning how to read? Those are tough decisions to make, but the pandemic has let those things rise to the top.
Both leaders hope things can go back to normal next year.
But at the end of the day, everybody also wants to get back to normal in some way, shape, or form. And the one thing that we do realize is that COVID will always be here. That's the nature of viruses. There will be no day where COVID is not here. It's really about how we live with it rather than trying to wait for it to leave us.
For InFocus, I'm Benji Jeffords.